Yeah.
Griffin Payne. So I've had the pleasure of knowing you for it feels like forever, but it realistically been about 2 years now.
Yeah, I'd say sounds about right.
So I know there's a lot I know about you.
Yeah.
But for the audience and everybody else, just I guess we'll start off with whatever you do, man.
I don't know what I do, man.
We can keep company names out of it because I know that gets a little
So I'm Griffin Payne,
iffy.
and I have been in cybersecurity for a little over 10 years. Done it all: compliance, risk assessments, penetration testing, engineering.
Yeah, so I guess walk me through the process of because there's a lot of crazy shit going on right now.
Yeah.
And I know we talked off camera a little bit about AI and the development of AI. I know we've had private conversations about the use of AI in cybersecurity, not fully taking place as far as jobs, but I guess assisting with your job. So
it is a great addition to your toolbox if you know what you're doing and you need pointed assistance. Elevates your game tenfold.
Yeah, here, hold on. I'll just show you a video of what I'm terrified at.
Scare me. Is this a new one? What? 84. All right. Did you see the
So this is
Terminator
what I'm terrified
7?
of.
In the 21st century, a weapon will be invented like no other. This weapon will be
Boom,
powerful,
AI, ChatGPT right there, inside the
and
brain.
It's going to have way better guns.
It can't be reasoned.
Lasers.
It can't be bought with. It will feel no pity,
This is a good trailer.
no remorse, no pain, no fear.
Now introducing
It will
ChatGPT
have
5.
only one purpose: to return to the present and prevent the future.
Dude,
Introducing Bard by Google.
This weapon
Do
will
no
be
evil.
called
Just
the
kidding.
Terminator.
You're dead, honey.
ugh.
That's a great
Legitimately, man. Like this is the shit that like freaks me out.
Yeah.
Because so they just had that AI summit like 3 days ago. So for those listening in, today's the 3rd of November, 2023.
I had to double check. Wait, is it?
Yeah, I've got the date up there. But yeah, so I mean, when did you get into cybersecurity? Or I guess like that realm.
The catalyst for it was the Target breach that was in 2012, 11, whenever that happened. I was working as a help desk doing general tech support for small companies at a managed service provider. So we did outsourced IT help desk. We were a small company for other small companies. And I remember sitting there one day, because it was kind of a break fix role. If there wasn't some printer or something that needed fixed, I kind of just perused the internet for hours on end. And I was reading an article about the Target breach and the impact and how many cards were stolen and the way that criminals did it. And it was fascinating. But then I saw the demand for cybersecurity professionals and the salaries, and I was like, I got to get into this. And just started reading books and learning and practicing at home, and off we went.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So started at Target.
Yeah.
High class, not Walmart.
And funny enough, I actually ended up at Target at some point working there.
So did you do anything prior to working? Like, what did you do before working at Target? Because that was, you said it was 20 what?
I worked at Target in 2017. So it was like a while after the breach.
Okay.
But
well, what did you do before that?
Before that, like I said, I started doing in help desk.
Yeah.
Doing small, medium business IT support. So broken printers, setting users up, all that stuff.
The stuff nobody wants to do.
Yeah, basically. It's like the entry-level job that you need a job in computers. You start there. You kind of know something about computers, but not really. It was a good start. Good company to work with. It was fun people. But after that, like I said, I started studying cybersecurity and really tried to learn as much as I could. And there was a small cybersecurity consulting firm in the city. I lived in Cleveland at the time. And I applied there. And I got called a few weeks later, interviewed. I thought it went all right. And then I heard back a week or two, or maybe it was a while, like 3, maybe a month after the interviews, and they offered me a job. And once I was in there, I worked there for 2 years, a little over 2 years. One of the guys I was friends with there was a principal, which is like a higher up consultant. And he was like, I found your resume in the trash, literally. He's like, they printed it out, they checked you out when you applied, and we threw it in the garbage. He was like, we've had so many people come in and just fail that we're like, let's just give this guy a shot. And it worked out.
Did you put your social on that?
Probably.
Dude, they didn't shred it.
I don't think you put that on. I've never put that on a resume.
I guess just my time in like the government. Like most of the time they want it.
Your info's out there anyways, 10 times over.
Well, so 2015, China did that data breach of all the military personnel files.
What was the name of that one?
I don't know.
It was big.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge. So all my information's over at China anyway. So I've got like LifeLock for the rest of my life, paid for by the taxpayers. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it sounds like a little bit of a luck of the draw. But before that, did you say you were a bartender for a little while?
Yes.
I know we chatted offline for that.
Yeah.
So it was just odd and end jobs and stuff.
No, mostly service industry from the time I was 16 until I graduated college in 2008.
Okay.
And then, funny story. In college, I had a couple DUIs, and I couldn't go anywhere because I was on house arrest, and that really accelerated my interest in computers.
No, like not because you couldn't leave.
Yeah, all my roommates would go out to parties in the bar and stuff, and I would just be sitting at home alone. So I started. Even before then, I was into computers. I was into gaming when I was younger.
Yeah,
and building computers. I remember walking around Best Buy and staring at graphics cards I could never afford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, man, I wish I could just play. The frame rate on my game would be so much better. I remember playing Final Fantasy VII on the PC.
It would be 60 frames per second.
NHL 94, and it's just like chop, chop, chop. So I've always liked computers. But then in college, when I was on house arrest, it kind of escalated.
How long were you on house arrest for?
60 days, I think, or 90 days.
In lieu of jail time?
Yeah. Well, I suppose I could have had jail time. I would have had less jail time, but I felt like jail time would kind of be the scarlet letter, and I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And like, what do? I'm in jail for a month and can't pay my bills or work.
Yeah, dude.
Probably get beat up. Like I turned to a life of crime. Like if you go to jail, like you're probably not going to come out like too well on the other side. So
that's a fair assessment, especially back in the day, man.
It was a calculated risk, right? Like, who am I? Am I get in there and make friends with somebody to like protect me? Some little 120-pound piece of trash,
string bean.
Yeah. And next thing I know, I'm like doing favors for gang members and stuff.
Well, I guess. So we'll stay away from employers just for like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I know who you work for, and but we want to maintain like the ability.
I mean, if you look me up on LinkedIn, you can see most of it. So we can.
Yeah, that's true.
I won't talk specifics of the job or technologies in use.
Okay. Yeah. I just don't want to get anybody in trouble. So anybody that comes on this podcast, I always want to be respectful about like what they can't talk about. So if you can say who you work for, cool. It's interesting in the aspect that I'd like to bring up the purchase, the largest acquisition in history. Yeah. And mind you, in a time.
Is it in history?
I think so, man. We can look that up.
All right. For those of you waiting, I am an employee at Cisco, and we just purchased Splunk. And it is a massive, massive purchase.
Yeah, so thanks to Google.
28 billion.
So in September, Cisco announced it would acquire Splunk in an all cash. One, where do you get that much cash? But
Years
so
and years.
an all cash deal valued at $28 billion. Now that's nothing compared to the amount of money we've been spending lately in the government, but 28 billion is a massive, massive amount of money, I feel like, for acquiring a company.
You should see what a Splunk bill is.
What does Splunk do?
They are the maker of probably the best aggregation tool. So Security Event SIM. What does that stand for? Security Information Event Manager. SIM. But anyways, it collects, aggregates logs, really good search language. So you can just, basically it's a bucket you throw all your logs into. And then if you want to look for information or transform data to do dashboards or anything like that, Splunk's the tool.
So how does that, so it sounds to a layman, it sounds like a scraper. Like it scrapes.
No, it's
not necessarily the same thing.
It's like a searchable closet for stuff. Logs, in that case. Like logs are beneficial if there's ever an incident for security purposes. If you have an application, say it's Amazon on Prime Day, and you want to know if the website's performing properly, like you would put application performance logs in there, everything like that. Splunk gives you a very nice interface, and it's very powerful under the hood to search and analyze that data. Because a lot of the times there's disparate sources, different formats, and it's just kind of all over the place. Like, so we were just looking at raw logs. They may not be consistent across systems or whatever. Splunk allows you to
merge the two.
Make sense of it all.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I guess what's been the, with this AI technology and purchasing this Splunk company, I guess what's been like the on the grounds change? Nothing
yet. We always joke though that we bought Splunk because we pay them so much a month, and we're just like, pay our monthly bill for 29 billion or just buy them for 28 billion because it's
that
expensive tool.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. We pay a fortune, and it's,
dude, that's like, I just think about how much money, $1 billion is.
Oh, I know. But you made a comment earlier where you said it's not as much as the government.
Oh, I know, dude.
It's been, but then just like, didn't we just cut a check for Israel for like 18
I don't know.
billion?
Let's
like that.
And like, that is something. So I do want to pick your brain, and
where does this money come from?
Well, you used to work for an Israeli company, and you have individuals that are involved, boots on the ground. I guess, like, what have you heard? This is still secondhand, right? But
yeah,
it just seems like there's just like a shit ton of chaos going on, man.
I haven't talked to anybody over there involved since the first week it happened, but then it was, like probably the most grotesque and infuriating thing that could ever happen, which I can't even fathom, wrap my head around what that would
the
feel
attack.
like. I mean, it is like the equivalent of 9/11 to them.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't super young, but I was young when that happened. It didn't, the gravity of the situation didn't really hit me, as now I'm a little more mature and understand things.
Yeah, you start understanding a little bit more of the political aspect of the world.
Yeah.
And but I've got this pulled up, and apparently it's less than Splunk. Dude.
Yeah, still
$14.5 billion, which
a muscular U.S. response.
Yeah. It's
it's getting a little
news.
dicey over there. I
Yeah,
mean,
so dude, I know enough people still in the military that are pretty on edge.
Yeah. So I worked for an Israeli company, and based in Israel, I was probably one of 10 Americans that we had, and the rest were Israelis. So 120, 150 people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have volunteered and re-enlisted in the IDF or lending their services, because everybody in Israel has to join the military.
Right. Yeah.
At some point in their life.
Conscription. Or
yes.
Like that?
I don't know what the word is. But they have to do, I think it's 2 years. And some of them, everybody I worked with, because it was cybersecurity, most of them were in the 8200 or, in the special groups, intelligence and things like that. A lot of them are just volunteered to go help because it's such an egregious offense. So I couldn't imagine that, like right now, if something happened, leaving my family to go support your country, like at this stage in my life, at least. But
yeah,
all of them, it's like, let's go,
dude. Well, and it's not like, I feel bad for both sides, right? Like,
yeah,
the innocent people of Palestine,
yeah,
right.
And it's like a bad apple you don't throw out the bunch, and it's just kind of I don't even know.
I don't think there's a really good answer for it. I do feel bad for like the politicians that have to speak on behalf of it, because it's not, if you say one thing, you're wrong. If you say the other thing, you're wrong.
It's like I'm really into art, and I follow this Palestinian artist on Instagram, and just seeing his posts, and it's just like it's horrible. Like there are tons of innocents, and it's such a small, at least I'd assume, I don't know, I'm ignorant, a small group, the Hamas in Palestine, and it's just like, doesn't matter. We're wiping the table clean.
Yeah, I almost like, I was talking to somebody and we were having this conversation about like the mafia, right?
Yeah,
like the mafia ran Chicago for years, committing murders, when alcohol was illegal, moving alcohol around, all this other stuff, and you at its peak, I can't imagine it had more than 2,000 active members in all of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like the equivalent of like blowing up Chicago and being like, all right, we solved the problem.
Right.
And it's like,
yeah,
I don't think that's the right.
I don't think that's the right answer. Wipe Chicago off the map. Oh man. And it's so yeah, I'm friends with a lot of Israelis still, and I still talk to a few of them often, and they'll send me videos, and one was some guy interviewing, I don't know, can I send it to you? We can watch it.
Yeah, you can send it to my WhatsApp and I'll log in.
Like this kind of just, and speaking with my friends in Israel, and they're like, this is why we have to do what we're doing. And it's like, I mean,
I should ask, is this going to be appropriate for viewers?
Yeah, it's not, it's just kind of absurd. I can't find it. Is this it? Make no mistake. No. Man, I talked to this guy too much, apparently. When was this? All right. Perhaps.
Did you find it or no?
No. Where is it? This is the only place I talked to him. Well, you're editing this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's always...
This is a... What the fuck? Where is it?
It's no biggie.
It's one of those
is it on Instagram?
Ones. It was.
I could probably find it.
Anyways, it was a guy with his baby, and he's talking to a reporter. And he's like, "I'm Hamas," and then says, the reporter's like, "How can you raise your kid this way?" He's like, "She bleeds green." Like, apparently, I don't know if that's their colors.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he was like, what if your daughter strapped a bomb to herself, ran into Israel, and blew up a bunch of people and killed herself? He'd be like, I'd be so proud of her. And the kid's in his arms, like, small kid. And that's just kind of...
So it's like an indoctrination aspect of it, which is
yeah.
I feel like anybody can fall victim to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anybody.
And that's the crazy thing, though. It's like, I understand, because I remember I was talking to him about it, the same guy, and he was like, we're going to wipe them off the face of the earth. And I was like, is that like the best solution to this problem? And then he like shared a video like that, and he's like, if we don't, these people, it's like Batman, right? Like, you create Batman because his parents were murdered by crime, so he goes and fights crime until he avenges this seed that was planted when he was a child.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
That's a hard one.
I know. And
that's a hard cookie to crack.
So, and man, in like the UN, whatever, is that what it was? That vote?
For what?
Like if there should be
a ceasefire?
Yeah, or like
peace
or whatever. Like America's like, nope.
Well, Netanyahu said, he quoted scripture and said the Bible says there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. And I'm like, I despise when people try to use any religion to justify anything they're doing. I think it's a slippery slope.
Uh-huh.
And I truly think that people, you know,
yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. Like, dude, if people know me, they know I'm like super respectful of like any religion.
We're like 10 minutes into this conversation. I didn't want to turn it south this fast.
Boom,
but yeah,
just
right?
like that.
Let's dive into this shit going on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like there's just so much shit going on. There's like you've got the potential for World War III. You've got AI that's been like so who's the guy that talks about the snowball effect? The snowball effect of like technology. You know,
no idea. No.
There's hold on, I gotta find this.
Google it. No, we will search it. We're search agnostic.
All right, we're gonna see if this pulls up anything. I feel like there was like some guy that mentioned technology and was basically explaining. No, this isn't it.
No, yeah, I've never heard of that.
But it's basically this. It's this idea that like as technology progresses, it picks up momentum, and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep on progressing faster and faster.
And the scariest thing
and faster
about something like artificial intelligence is the world today, profit reigns supreme.
Right.
So if you can monetize it, you're not putting the brakes on your progress because you want to be better than ChatGPT, and everybody wants to be the one with the most traffic and getting the most money out of it because you got to appease your shareholders. Mm-hmm. So while there more than likely is real concern about what will happen when this thing gets out of control, nobody in the positions that can affect that are going to stop because they have a responsibility to produce results. And I think that reminded me of I think it was Google, their AI person said they downplay the risks of AI to society because they want to increase market share.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah.
Do you think Sam, what is his name? Sam
Altman?
Friedman?
Altman. Friedman's the guy who just went to jail for that
Oh, that's right. That's
crypto fraud. Yeah.
Sam
Almost
Altman.
got away with it.
If it weren't for you rotten kids.
You damn
So so
kids.
because he's testified in front of Congress a few times.
Yeah, and they love him. I never watched any of it. I don't know if there's video.
I feel like I've seen a few, but
apparently
like,
super personable and answers questions well and just kills it.
I wonder if he's downplaying ChatGPT. And then you got Microsoft, Bill Gates coming out saying like, no, dog. Like people are saying that ChatGPT is all this other like extra stuff, and it's not. I will say, I when I first started using it, I was pretty impressed with, I to be honest with you, how fast it responded. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got that figured out.
Mm-hmm.
That astonished me. I guess the other aspect too was like how thorough it appeared.
Yes. Yeah.
And
appears.
Yeah.
That's like sometimes people believe it like unequivocally, like, yes, it's computer, it's right. Like, it's not always right. I use it to support some of my code building efforts, and it sounds good. It's like, this is why you do this does this. It's like the best paired programmer coach when it's right. You're like, okay, I'm trying to build a function that does this in Python, and I need it to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, okay, this is the package you should use for this because it's optimized for this, and this is this. You try it, and it doesn't work. And you're like, this is the error I got. And it's like, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. This is what I meant to do. This is an outdated version. Like,
so it's knowing what to tell it or respond to it.
Yeah, but it's like, you told me that the first time. Why now you're correcting yourself? Like, I don't trust you, but I still use it all the time. But it's funny. I use this for innocuous stuff now. Like, I still use random internet searches, but like the results on Google or anywhere else is just filtered or filled with trash. So ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, what can I feed my dog? It's allergic to chicken, turkey, XYZ. Here are the best foods. Which ones have these ingredients in it? And it's just like, these studies are good on this and this. It's like, perfect. Thank you. And it just filters through the noise when you give it the right prompts.
If you had the opportunity to take ChatGPT and put it in your brain.
Done. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
What if they had a turn? What if they had like a kill switch, bro?
Oh, I mean, like running it in my brain. If you could give me that capability to process information that fast and the information matrix style, like just upload it, I'd do it. Right in. But yeah, I don't want to be like connected all the time with.
Well, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
No, maybe. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking of like the Neuralink, right?
I think Elon Musk said you could fit Wikipedia on your phone. Like, it's not a lot of data.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So is he saying like the capabilities for everybody to have some sort of AI?
No, he was just laughing because they always ask for money on Wikipedia. And he's like, what costs money? You could fit the entire contents of Wikipedia on a phone.
Oh, he's talking like server space and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's simple HTML.
Mm. Yeah, that's all I need.
Put wiki in my brain, please.
Vein to brain, baby.
Oh, man. I just think like so I remember growing up, and you're a little bit older than me, but like when I got home, I would have to unplug the phone to plug it into the computer and hope to God no one in my house noticed.
Yeah.
Just to play like Diablo.
It was, yeah.
You know what I mean, dude? It was.
Remember, we got a word processor, like a brother word processor when I was young, and it was almost a computer. It was like, keyboard and a screen, but it was literally for writing documents.
Yeah.
And that's all it did. And I just remember making shapes and things with the arrows.
Mm-hmm. So what I was getting at, like with kids, man, like they're going to grow up with this ChatGPT stuff and everything else like that. And I know you said your pinnacle point of getting into cybersecurity was that target attack. Do you see the field itself growing or shrinking because of AI?
That's interesting. I don't know, because it does supplement and it complements skills well. Yes, you could train it and use AI to do a lot of the grunt work, like filtering alerts or like validating true positives and things like that. Maybe if you trained it really well. That's the other thing. You need somebody to do that. So that's kind of a specialized skill, or
So they would be working themselves out of a job.
not necessarily, because it's not something you just set and forget, right? You can't just unleash this thing and trust it. There's a story about Microsoft publishing like bad info and inaccurate stories on their main website because they got rid of all the people, copy editors, and they rely on automation and AI to do it all. And it's just like biased stories and bad things. It's like, you can't just kind of set it loose. In the factory, maybe with some Android like Elon Musk is building. I saw there's some in Amazon.
You mean like moving packages around? Oh, yeah.
Like even this thing killed itself. Yeah, like that. Sure, I could go do some task, this easily repeatable, automatable task. But anything that requires some creative problem solving or analytical thought, I don't think it's there and won't be for a while. Like data entry, things like that is literally train a monkey to do with enough time and energy. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole, it's bewildering to me because I've only scraped the surface of like cybersecurity and like dabbled in like Linux and, you know, the few things that we've done together.
Yeah.
And like I feel like some people are just like waving this giant flag that this thing's it's like an impending tsunami. And like, from what I use it, like I used it today and it gave me some bullshit answer. And I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't seem right. And I asked the same question again, and then it gave me something a little bit more believable. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me check those sources. Right. So there's still like the aspect of me of like, it's pretty good, but let me check it.
It's so funny though. Like there's like two camps in the people I interact with from work in past roles. You either use it all the time or you don't use it. And there's sort of a divide between those two camps now. It's like the people that use it all the time have kind of refined their prompts and can get more accurate answers or actionable answers from it, versus the people that like tried it once and like, I don't understand what it's all about. And these are like technologists, like people who understand technology, and they're just like, I'll just Google it and trial and error until I figure it out. Like, you just wasted 8 days when this
Are those the same people that ask you how
30
to
minutes
freaking open an Adobe file?
No, these people are sharp.
Okay.
They're just kind
of, you know who I'm talking about.
I do. That's like, I talked to my parents about this and they're like, sounds crazy. Well, have you tried it yet? They're like, what do I need to use it for? I'm like, we're literally like, we're going to England in March and we're going for 17 days. And I told it, I'm like, we're going to be here from this date to this date. This is when our flights get in. We need to do X, Y, Z. The goal of this trip is Y, but we need to be here for this. But we also want to go to Belgium, but we want to see this, this, and this. Like, what's the best way to do it? And it's like, spend 4 hours here, do it, and laid out this perfect itinerary with, it's like, here, I baked in a couple hours extra for, traffic or to enjoy the sights because Amsterdam has beautiful tulips that time of year. And I'm like, cool,
thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really good. That would have taken me a month to pencil and paper and try to figure out.
That's like the old school travel agencies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You call them up, say, hey, I want a vacation here. And there you go.
Just blew that one out of the water.
Yeah.
That's one of those jobs I would have never considered.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't seen it integrated with like Expedia yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Expedia. Oh, well, I'm going to edit that out. We're going to patent that real quick. I'm sure it's already a patent. But that would be pretty solid, man.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Ultimately, I think this stuff is pretty cool. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
I have a son. I have 2 kids. One's 5, one's 3. My 5-year-old, I accidentally introduced him to video games when he was 3 because I thought it was fun. I don't have many games, so I like put on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh my God.
I know. And I like just turned the volume down, but I was like, I don't have any car games. Like, how innocent is that? Driving around a car, you use 2 sticks.
Running over pedestrians.
Yeah, he figured that out real quick. But then like getting dragged out of the car and getting into fights, I was like, oh gosh. My wife's like, what are you letting him do? I'm like, I thought it would be fun. And I kind of like gave him that itch, and he always wanted to play video games. So we're like, no more PlayStation. We let him play like Skate 2 and 3. I don't know if you remember those back in the day.
Yeah, dude.
I have a PlayStation 3, and like he just doesn't know what skateboarding is, so he didn't understand the physics of using the sticks to do the actual tricks, which I thought was amazing. So we're like, all right, you can play Switch, play Mario or whatever. And then that wasn't working, or he throws that and breaks. I'm like, all right, here, play on the computer, look up some website for like kid games where you like just click and it just does it. It's all you have to do is click. But he started figuring out how to use the mouse. The 3-click rabbit hole of anything on the internet. He ended up on games that he probably shouldn't have been playing, but it's a game, and it's just like,
You talking like the sniper game?
Yeah. All these like HTML5 games in the browser, but it's just like, the ASDFW controls for the arrows, and then these keys. He's like, Dad, what's that say? I'm like, your letters. What's that say? He's like, A, S. I'm like, all right, those are the controls. He's like, okay, what's that say? It says, you better run or it'll kill you. He's like, I gotta get out of here. And he like just learned how to use the computer. And
it's probably helped him read too.
And now he goes to Code Ninjas, which he's super into, which is awesome. But that's the only thing he's ever liked consistently is playing on computers and going to this Code Ninjas where he's learning sequencing. And last week they learned about like backlogs, which is the work track, or you have the work you need to do. And
it's almost like, how they say like humans have primitive instincts to do things. I feel like kids, because Ezra's, I also have a young child for the listeners listening in. He's 4 years old, and he does the same stuff, man. He like picks up an iPad or something like that. Even the computer. I had it left out on the counter today, and he's sitting there. He's starting to click through the internet. And I was like, whoa!
Please just like natively understand how to do this. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
and that's the segue. Something, nothing, everything. Tangents.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to introduce him to ChatGPT so he can ask it random questions, because we have a Google Nest on our countertop.
Yeah.
Hey Google, what's the weather? Because he hears us saying it, but he's like, hey Google, can you play whale noises? And I'm like, you should talk to ChatGPT. That'd be pretty cool. You can ask it anything. And
God, dude, that's like almost like a genie in a bottle.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then
could you imagine? So I saw like a phenomenal Instagram reel where it was like this giant rave with lasers, fireworks, bass drop, everything. And it said like, could you imagine pulling someone from 1800 for 30 seconds and dropping them in on this rave?
We're under attack.
Dude.
Bringing somebody from 1984 in that just saw Terminator, like lasers. Yeah, oh my God, they're real.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but like, it's just the progression of technology is literally mind boggling to me. And like, the more I like read about shit, the more I start realizing like, fundamentally like quantum physics and all this other stuff. I'm super huge into reading those articles. I read the articles and I read the abstract of the scientific journal of what it's from to make sure it's peer reviewed and all this other stuff and not just stuff off the wall.
Mhm.
There's still a lot of theoretical stuff with quantum physics, but there's some provable stuff, right? And Neil deGrasse Tyson just had like some speech or something like that with this dude that's like super into quantum physics. And he was basically saying, like, the more I dig into the science of reality, what we see as reality, the more he sees computer code.
There was some article by some doctorate student that sort of, it didn't prove it, but it like was pretty
I think
aligned
a lot of
with this being a simulation because of some, I don't remember what it was, but we had.
I
This
think it's a
conversation
lot
before.
of. I think it's a lot of like. They always say material science is what is stopping us from obtaining a lot of things.
Mhm.
I also think material science is stopping us from being able to observe all the things that are going on.
I don't know what you mean by material science.
So, a perfect example is like we have theoretical elements that we can make, but
Yes.
materialistically we don't have them. We can't make them on Earth. The only time they occur on Earth is when they're like radioactive isotopes, stuff like that. You don't have to be quiet about it, man.
I have a feeling. Should I mute
No
this?
shit. Here, look, I'll just mute you. Bloop. Bingo, bango.
Boom.
Yeah. So I don't have to do post edit. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I constantly have this conversation with people, and fundamentally, I don't know what to do with the information. Like,
It scares people.
I don't think it does anything to me.
Well,
How does
you.
it make you feel? If tomorrow we came out and we found out we actually lived in a simulation, what would it do for you?
I'd be real curious how to get out of it. That'd be my first thought. Like,
Is that not curiosity though?
I mean,
like,
well, other
we
people
all
would be like,
know.
oh my god, this is the
We all
everything I thought was. I'd be like,
so are you talking to like how to get out of it outside of dying?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think
I like that's full circle here. That's what got me into computers too. I was doing some less than ethical things while I was on house arrest, just because there's rules. You don't break them, but you can bend them, and you can do anything with the computer with enough time and effort. And like that, this is in fact a simulation. I'm like, well, I can cheat code. How do I abuse this to enhance my position for whatever reason? And I want steak, like in the Matrix, right?
oh yeah. Yeah. He's like, I'm tired of eating this
Yeah.
shit. I just want to sit here and eat steak.
Like the Grand Theft Auto cheat code, like boom, 99999 in my bank account, like done.
Yeah.
Car, boom.
I don't know, man. Like the question for me that comes up is not like how do I leave, but like what is the purpose?
Well, I'd get to that eventually, but just like think like the Matrix, like Neo when he's trying to jump the building when he first figured out
That would be pretty
about
dope.
the Matrix, like yeah, if you can,
I can bend the code.
abuse these rules, right? Like I want to fly, I want to disappear, and that'd be cool, man. We have a little fun with it first for you. What's the bigger picture here? I don't care.
Well, maybe that's just like, human inquisition.
Well, that's where we're kind of fundamentally different. We've had these conversations before.
Yeah.
You like to think.
You just want money.
Nah, that
No,
makes
I
things
know.
easier. I just try not to cloud my mind with things I won't be able to figure out, or
Well, dude, and that's
are
the
too
thing. is, like,
theoretical for me. I'm just like, it's.
I do realize at the end of the day that it does nothing. Like,
Yeah.
if I
I'm
find
stressed
out
about enough. I don't.
if I find out I'm in a simulation tomorrow, I still have to pay taxes
Right.
in this simulation. If I don't, the IRS can come banging on my door.
What if you don't have a door?
What you saying? If I could like
You put in the cheat code
and
and
just
all
be
of a
like,
sudden it's just walls.
guess what? Just the wall.
You can't get in.
That sounds dangerous, bro. That sounds like a recipe for The Sims where you build a fireplace
Right.
and put a bunch of wooden chairs,
Exactly.
and you're like, we're about to have a haunted house.
Man.
Oh, dude. So I was talking to another friend of mine about this that does philosophy. So I know it sounds weird. There's not too many philosophers nowadays, but I'm hoping to get him out here at some point. He lives in North Carolina, and but I
What's
was
he do
talking
for a living.
He's what is he at? He's like physical therapist.
Okay, so he's not a philosopher. He doesn't like sit on the grassy knoll and.
I mean, he's got tons of time to do it.
Right.
So like, he writes books that are actually pretty good. But I was talking to him. I was like, man, what if like we are in some sort of simulation and like the visitors, the aliens that are coming to like Earth and stuff like that are the programmers? It's like, have you ever watched Midnight Gospel with like Duncan Trussell?
No, I've never heard of that.
There's an episode. Well, I don't want to copyright it or anything like that. Great show. Check it out if you haven't already. It's on Netflix. But there's an episode where he's outside. So Duncan Trussell does these podcasts and like they do a cartoon editing of it. He's outside of like the simulation, and then he goes inside of it and he experiences everything inside the simulation, right? But he does it and he initially shows up as like this creature. But I like imagine like, man, what if these aliens that are coming here are part of like the overall programming? I don't know what I don't know what the purpose would be, but like with the UFO sightings and everything else like that. Yeah. But then they also could just be like legit material, organic beings that somehow wrecked out their Ferrari of a spacecraft here on Earth, and then we found it.
Not fully convinced, but I would not be surprised at all if they were like aliens have been here for a while. Like after they find the hieroglyphs of those weird things, like the saucer flying in the air, or these weird pictures of like Wi-Fi symbols in ancient Egypt. None of it would surprise me, to be honest. And that's what was that, a couple weeks ago? When the government's like, yes, there's aliens. I don't know what that big deal is. Everybody's like, yeah, so what? I can't pay my bills. Like, this is not surprising. And that's one of the interesting things about this day and age is there's just so much information out there. And you can choose your own narrative based on what you want to read.
All right. So I've got this pulled up.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to find what... Oh, okay. That legit looks like That looks like UFO.
That looks way too clean. Is that real?
It says aliens and spacecraft in ancient Egypt temple. Did you see that they just found the new a hidden room in the pyramids?
Another?
Yeah. So I'm like, how do you not know? We've been studying this shit for like 60 years.
Right. Yeah.
This is 2013. Okay. So according to many UFO, this is interesting.
Helicopters and
that I would say that looks like a UFO,
right?
Like for sure.
That looks like a Jetsons car up top.
Yeah,
and a
helicopter. That the one below it that I have my cursor on looks like a Futurama.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that show?
Yeah,
that was a good show. Yeah, I can see that. I can. I get down with the ancient.
Like,
aliens.
where do these people see this? Why did you draw that?
Yeah,
like The Fifth Element. I love that movie.
I don't think I've watched it.
Oh, put that on your to-do list. It's
yeah.
great. But it's guys in there looking at some ancient, presumably Egypt, because it was
in rocks.
Yeah, sandy.
Yeah,
and it looked like
like this.
Yeah, but then like the aliens come down, and, like he faints. Did they give him the key? No, they open this wall in the pyramid. It opens, and then they go like take the stones and then leave. And they're just like, what? And then a couple hundred years later,
yeah,
they come back.
Dude, I don't know. I just wish there was a moment that like the government finally came out and they were like, yeah, so you know what? We're just going to be completely front with everybody. We've been in contact with these beings for 40 years now. This is what's going on. This is why we're doing X, Y, and Z. But I promise you right now, the reason that they probably don't want that information out is the average American would not be able to handle it. In addition to the fact that they would like think of like taxation, like legit, if there's aliens, I'm going to be like, why am I paying so much in tax?
You got to drive on roads, bro.
No, I get that. But like if they've got spacecraft, why aren't we?
There was a really interesting story I read not long ago about somebody high up in the DoD went and testified that aliens do exist, and we've been collecting artifacts and pieces of their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been happening for a long time. The reason they didn't publicize it is because they didn't want to turn it into an arms race of everybody rushing to the crash sites to collect the equipment, to reverse engineer it, weaponize it, create this superpower versus superpower with alien technology. It was a good read. I'll have to send it to you. But the person sounded so credible. And I didn't.
I could see that, man. But like at the same time, like I guess if you're dealing with technology that can warp space-time.
And some of the other things where they were like, we have no idea how this thing works, and we don't even know how to start reverse engineering it.
Yeah. Well, there's I'm drawing a blank on his name.
There's like, right, an alien, like a spaceship crashes. You think they use Phillips head screws? I doubt it.
That's a good point.
How the fuck do we open this
That's
thing?
a good point, dude. You'd have to make new tools just to take that shit apart.
They probably have like real smooth, flush panels and stuff. Just like,
Bob Lazar. That's the name.
yeah,
Bob Lazar.
I know that name.
Yeah. He worked out at S4.
There was a documentary on him, and
Yeah.
didn't he get caught with child porn? And
I don't know.
was that guy?
No, I don't know if that's. I don't know. Here, we'll Google it.
That's
I want to
funny.
be very careful. Like, we're gonna Google that real quick.
But it's
'Cause
funny.
from what
you disclose
so
too much
for-
information.
From what I understand, he was discredited
You
very
end up
much.
being-
So I don't think he was that guy.
You end up being a pedo if you know too much.
I don't.
Coincidence? I don't think so. Edit that out. I don't want to say that. I don't want to be next.
No, it doesn't look like it was the same guy.
Theorist.
But I do know they discredited him a lot.
Look up. It doesn't matter.
They what they did do to him is state that he did not go to MIT for school and all this other stuff that were provable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the government like wiped out their records and stuff.
It's funny how they can do that.
Yeah.
You don't exist there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The UFO, going back to like there's so much shit going on. We have an economic crisis that's facing this country that's going to be insane. We have the housing market, which is kind of tied to the finances, right? The economic problem. We have AI that's going to revolutionize the way we live, let alone like cybersecurity and everything else like that. And then we got the government coming out saying that we have spacecraft that are not of this earth and non-human organics or biologics is what he said. And so we got all this stuff going on. It's just there's
There's a lot going on.
It's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah. And like Elon
And then
Musk,
sorry to cut you off, but like I was just out at Las Vegas like a couple weeks ago, right? And it was right after the MGM hacking.
did you see the sphere?
I did. Yeah. That is wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like
that U2 concert, I was like, what?
Oh, was it inside?
Yeah.
I didn't go inside of it.
Well, I know. I was just asking if you saw it outside, but like they just opened it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have you seen the concert though? Like footage from inside? It would melt your brain.
That's what I'm saying. Bring somebody
Yeah,
from 1800, drop them in there 30 seconds, and then send them back.
Bring somebody from right now. You take them in there. There's going to be seizures galore in that place.
Yeah, it is
insane.
From the outside, it was pretty wild. But I remember walking Caesar Palace's MGM, and are they MGM? Is Caesar MGM?
I think MGM is a thing and Caesars is a thing. Caesars Entertainment. No, they're different. Which is why one paid and the other didn't. Which is funny.
Yeah, talk to me about that, because you've got more info on that as far as like what happened.
It's just such a, I'd call it a routine attack, because it was, I believe, teenagers that did it. It's so not hard to pull off a good cybersecurity attack.
So walk me through what happened. So MGM is, for people listening in, casinos out in Las Vegas. Caesars is not part of MGM. I don't know who is, but I remember going to a few casinos and they were still hit. Because you casino hop. If you go to Las Vegas, you bounce from one to the other.
Yeah, they're all kind of... There's like 3 or 4 big owners of all of them now. But anyways, I don't know all the details. I only read like snippets. And once I like saw the initial point of entry for the attack, I was like,
what was it?
Of course. Called the help desk on the phone and had them reset a user's password. So the teenagers researched employees, found somebody probably on LinkedIn or something like that, called the help desk pretending to be this person, and knew enough or was friendly enough, and the help desk people gave them access, reset their password, whatever it was. Again, I didn't read too thoroughly into this. And then just once you have an initial foothold, it's usually not that hard to pivot through, find other networks, and just run rampant.
So how does that work, going from like the aspect of getting in? So are they accessing like ones and zeros? Are they getting...
No, it's like, say like it's a Windows computer like you're using right there. There's a local administrator account on there that is not always disabled on corporate systems. So you log in, you get your user ID reset from the help desk. You log in, you can't do administrative things on this computer, but the account exists. You can dump that stuff from the computer, crack the password, or just elevate privileges with various tools. Then your local admin, then you can do other things. And if you're on a domain, which is kind of like a corporate managed network of computers for the non-technology folk. So a domain is a way to control all the users and everything. It's like kind of a centralized repository of users, groups, access, and authorization throughout the company. If this computer is joined to the domain, you could probably find other domain users' passwords on your computer.
So you just hop from one to the other to the other to the other.
You just keep getting creds, cracking them, because they store them. They're usually encrypted. You can dump clear text credentials though, but you just find credentials, use them somewhere, wherever you can use them. You go there, look, see what credentials you can find there. Eventually you're going to find a domain admin, and you have the keys to the kingdom. And then oftentimes people are bad at setting up trust relationships between different forests in the domain, which are like different sub domains under a big enterprise. And
you just walk around freely.
It's hard. As IT security is hard. It's not easy to pull off really dialed in security. Like there's always a way, with enough time and effort, an attacker could figure something out. but usually they get caught. That's the goal. Detection is the goal. You want to set as many tripwires as you can to raise alarms as soon as things start happening that shouldn't. When you go undetected for a few days, weeks, months, nation states are very good at low and slow and living off the land.
Sure.
Which is using tools that are just built into the computer that don't raise alarms. That's where it gets scary. But these ransomware gangs and cyber groups now are usually like teenagers and
what are you doing right now with Cisco?
security engineering.
Okay, so walk me through, I guess, like what that entails day to day, and how do you feel working day to day?
There's development teams that are building applications, tools, systems, environments that other teams and people consume. So like a metrics application that tracks usage of something. We will build modules that will help them do things more securely because it's pre-built, hardened. Like we've done our homework on this. It's been tested. It's used throughout the company. It's been approved by, security and trust organization and compliance and everybody else. This is the official way to do it. We align what we do with the policies and procedures from higher up, legal, corporate, our standards and things like that. And then we push these baselines and secure images and things throughout the organization.
Okay.
And then day to day, it's building new things, new integrations, like testing new tooling.
So building as in like writing the code.
Yes.
For the system to actually perform a function.
Some people do, yes. I usually do like tooling integrations and things like that. So say like we got a new tool to protect something. I will build out how that's going to be deployed in an enterprise. So instead of walking up to a computer and installing something on it, everything's in the cloud now. You have to be able to scale, install it on 50, 100,000, 10,000 systems. My team will build those pieces as infrastructure as code to deploy at scale.
And how does that, as far as like a day-to-day operation, make you feel?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. It's fun. I really enjoy it, actually. I like that there's not one way to get something done, and it kind of has some creative problem solving to it. So the task is like, we need to integrate this secret storage system with this other system. It's like, okay, what does it need to do? Like, protect secrets from that system. Like, well, all right, well, how? Like, well, we didn't get that far. Like sometimes, like, all right, we need to understand the requirements. Like, all right, team, what do you need it to do? Like, give me every detailed requirement that it must achieve to say this accomplished. What we do accomplishes your goals. They're like, it just needs to do it. Okay. All right. Let's see. And then like you start playing around, like you have an idea, you try something, you're like, it worked, but that was slow, or this didn't work as good as it could have. And you build some janky gap filler fix. And it's like, that'll break, and then somebody's going to have to fix that later. Okay, let's do it better. And it's just like an iterative approach to trial and error. And
at the same time, you have somebody on the other side that's trying to find a flaw in whatever you're making. Eventually, right?
They exist. Yes. There's testers that will test that stuff, but a lot of it in the current state of things is continuous integration, continuous deployment. So instead of the traditional way of build, package and update, push it. Yeah. All these little incremental updates rolled into one massive update that happens once a month or once every 3 months. It's all like all day, every day. Like I will change something this morning 2 hours later, it's in production. And there's little checks and balances throughout this pipeline.
So it's a faster approach.
Mhm.
Because in my brain, and I think most people think about this as it's like this is good. This is like a month process.
No, it's
this
fast.
can be okay.
All day, every day.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty cool, man.
So it's called a build pipeline. And like, say you write some code before you can commit the code, which is sending it up to like the shared repository. There's pre-commit checks that it's like, does it meet the standard? Is it formatted correctly? Is there any errors? Is there any insecure pieces in here that you shouldn't do? And if there is, it's like, you can't do that. Fix it.
Right.
So that's like the smell test. You pass that. Now it goes through regression testing and smoke tests, some vulnerability scans, some static code analysis. That passes on to the next stage. If it doesn't, it stops in the build right there. And you have to go fix it. And then as soon as you fix it, it's like, all right, next step. We can compile it, do whatever. Is it good? No, fix it. Is it?
So it's
this
constant back and forth.
It's kind of like,
but it can be fast.
It's like watching like traffic flow. If you are doing a bad job, you just happen to hit every red light and you stop and you have to fix it. And then the light turns green. But if you're just like, you nail it, it's like green light, green light, green light. And then you're on the highway and it goes.
That's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that analogy can be used a lot.
That just came to me and it's like, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's more infuriating than hitting a red light.
Yeah,
and then
every red light, and it's like,
and hit another red light, and you're like, dude.
But it's even worse.
I
it's
need
like,
to
I
be
hit
at
the
this
red
place.
Light. Now I got to pull over and figure out why this light's red.
Right.
It's not a great analogy, but that's the process.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think it properly explains like how the feeling is.
But it lets you move fast, and like the motto on our team is, like Facebook, I think was the coiner of this phrase, like, move fast, break things.
Yeah.
Ours is all gas, no brakes. Like, go. If you break things, we fix it. But as long as, like, if you're breaking things, you're trying things and you're getting stuff done.
Pushing things to the limits, man.
I had for a long time, like perfectionism, paranoia. Like, I can't let that go because somebody's going to see it and be like, this sucks. So I got to make sure it's dialed in. Oh, so this guy's going to review it. He's just super smart. I don't want to look like an idiot. I can't do that. All right, spend an extra 4 days on something. Somebody's like, is it going to be done anytime soon? Like, yeah, we're really close. Really close.
Meanwhile, the culture is like,
just fire it off, man.
Shoot from the hip.
Fire it off. It's got to be reviewed by 2 people. Somebody will catch it. And if they don't, the tools do.
How do those two people feel? Like normally when they get like a bag of shit.
Oh, they let you know.
Are they pissed?
No, it's part of their job.
Good.
And they're
that's a good culture.
And it's there to help.
That's a good culture.
Right. And like, I've become friendly with a lot of like super smart people here. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, just commit it, see what happens. Okay. And it's just like, failed this check. The fail tells you why pretty clearly. It's like, you're missing this, and this. Go put them like, oh, yeah, I didn't read the readme. Okay, I'll do that. And you put it back and it's like green. Oh, failed this. It's like, oh, I forgot to do the format. Okay. You fix it and it's like, and hits the next steps and then it goes. And they're like, then it can be reviewed by somebody else. And they're like, what is this doing?
Else, yeah.
Like, it's doing this. Like, that's not how that does that. Fix it. Okay. So it's good. And then you learn because then it's like, hey, you got 10 minutes for a quick chat? Explain this to me. Because it's impossible to know everything.
Yeah.
So it's fun. That's what, like, I enjoy this role because it's always learning, doing things all the time. Team's great. Like, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, and Cisco's a great company to work for too. You know,
a lot of my other roles, I think we've talked about this. Like, I always got pushed into sales.
Yeah. Because
I was comfortable presenting. I get excited about talking about technology and like what I do. Mm-hmm. So everybody's like, you're so enthusiastic and the customers just love it. Like, yeah, but I'm not trying to sell anything. And they're like, but you don't have to try. You just sell it through your enthusiasm. It's like, I don't want to do that. bah, you're not technical. People love you. It's fun. Like, you love talking to people. I know I'm not really that into it. I like solving problems and like working on my own and talking when I have to, not because or not talking when I want to, not because I have to. Like that stage.
It's a different, it's a different requirement, man.
Yeah.
Like when you're sitting there and you're like in front of people for fun, it's like, that's cool. But like when you start saying like, especially when they give you details like, hey, talk about this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's not my style. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought about inviting him or having you or talking to you about inviting him to a podcast one time.
What's it?
A buddy I worked with, or used to work with.
We can chat offline about it.
Yeah, but we were similar situation. Like both understood the technology, really comfortable presenting and talking in front of audience of whatever level. Like some of the people I've worked with in the past are like, he's an executive. I can't present there. Like, it's just a dude, man. Like, who cares? He's gonna go home and take a shit too. Like,
yeah, it's true.
It's fine. It's not that big of a deal, and it's 30 minutes. Like, and you just walk off stage. You never see this guy again in your life. Who cares?
Yeah, I do tell people, like, because in the new role that I have with my job is I do a lot of presentations, and I tell people pretty frequently, like, we're all gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna remember your mistakes during this meeting. They're just gonna remember what you're trying to tell them.
And you'll never get that out of your own head, though. Like,
I know.
What if I say this wrong? And I get stage fright. Like before, I've presented so many times I can't even count. And right before it's my turn, I'm like borderline panic attack, and I don't know why, but it's funny. I work from home, and in the prior roles, but when I got pushed into these more sales centric roles, I would have to present to customers, and I would be on mute before my turn is about to come. And I would just be like, like these guttural, like caveman screams to like get as much energy out as I can to like baseline myself. My wife would like
to
pop
be
her head
calm.
and be like,
Chrissy, dude, I just imagine Chrissy like coming in like,
Carter's like, is Daddy okay? Like, I guess so.
His hemorrhoids are bothering him again.
And I come out, she's like, fucking idiot. Like, you can't say her own name. No, I can't. Because like once you get through that part, I can talk about the work stuff all day. I'm Griffin.
Yeah. It can be hard, man.
It is. And a lot of it's imposter syndrome. A lot of people in the field I'm in feel like they're no good at it. And it's funny.
I can
it's
see
like,
that.
Why? I'm the same way though. Like, I don't like talking to some people on the team. It's like, that person's way too smart.
Oh, I know.
Like,
we talked about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't look stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if somebody's okay to feel like, so I do jujitsu pretty frequently, and like I was told by higher belts is when you go to jujitsu, you have to be comfortable with feeling like you're a fool.
Mm.
Like that is just part of the learning process.
You're not going to be good if you don't, right?
No, and then like even like black belts will say like, yeah, there's still some things that I know what to do, but when it comes down to doing it, it's like for whatever reason the chords aren't crossing.
Yeah.
So
like Matt and I met at Krav Maga.
Oh God.
And it was funny though, like when we met, we immediately started pairing together often and as much as possible because we were helping each other. We were good training partners. But like that's one of the things. Like some of the people would never ask questions like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why are we doing this? Or what if I did this? Or what should I be doing when this happens? Other people are just like, yeah, okay, I'll go do this. Like you're not learning if you're just like going through the motions and not understanding the why.
Yeah, it is
the how. It's important to, I don't know, have some, I don't even want to call it vulnerability, but like just curiosity. Like, why is this supposed to do that?
Yeah. And
what's
I guess
my goal
like
here?
Fundamentally, what's really been like eye opening for me is that imposter syndrome transcends my position and goes to every position above me, every position below me.
Yeah.
That's the real like moment that I realized like, oh, I can go talk to these people. They don't know. They feel like they don't know what they're doing. I'll just go chat. Like, teach me what you know, and it's okay if you don't know. You know what I mean? And it's
funny. Like, I'll be in a meeting with somebody. I'm like, that person makes 7 figures.
Yeah.
And you could see, you'll catch those glimpses on their face. Like, they have no idea what they're talking about right
they're
now.
you.
Yeah. You're just a person too.
Yep.
Your kid's freaking out in the other room, and you have no idea what this meeting's about, and you're on the spot and you're just making shit up. I'm there. I get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta fix this hat. There we go.
Gosh, to have hair would be great,
Dude.
That's I mean, I think we're getting to the point. Like, I think we're an hour and a half in. Let me check this real quick.
Nice.
Just about what else? So we talked about a lot, man. But one thing I wanted to pick your brain about is I have a lot of friends that want to get into cybersecurity, like a lot.
Yeah.
And like, I guess what would be the threshold? And myself included, I for a long time wanted to.
You did, yeah.
And there's still a desire to do it. I enjoy the aspect of it. I still do the bug bounties and stuff like that. And what's the bandit one?
I think that's what it was. Bandit.
Is it called
something.
Bandit?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
But I still do those. I jump on there to refresh my ability to do all that stuff. And but just from your perspective of being in the field, what can someone do to really kind of hone in their skills and transition from whatever job they have into a career of cybersecurity?
I think one of the biggest obstacles is expecting a salary that you see posted out of the gate. Like, it takes, you gotta work your way up. So if you're transitioning from something that may have been fairly well paying, don't expect to make a lateral move coming in from something you did for 10 years to day zero. And that's okay. If it's something you can afford to do and you want to do and it's worth it to you, commit yourself to it. You got to always learn. And that's something I just got back into. I struggled for a couple of years when I kept getting pushed into those sales roles with like, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to learn new stuff or do these trainings or read because I just keep getting put in front of people to talk. And when I got into this role, I'm like hungry again and it's fun. And the last 2 months, like 5 nights a week, I'm reading and practicing, doing labs. So it's a constant learning experience. You always have to be figuring things out. It evolves fast. The attack techniques change. The mitigations for those change. The tooling changes fast.
So where does one find these like you say, learn? When a lot of people think about this stuff, they think like, oh, well, now I have to go to get like some certification in cybersecurity through some university or go to college to do
No, that's the funny thing about the field these days is it's moving away from resumes and certifications to more skill-based. Like a lot of the interviews I had been on prior to this role and that my friends are on now are very tactically focused. Like, how do you do X, Y, Z? Or we're trying to achieve this objective in the next 6 months. What would be your plan to attack that? And they want to know, like, have you done this? Can you do it? And if you've never done it, like, how would you approach it? What teams did you talk to? How would you chop this into pieces? And like, how would you measure it? So they're looking for just like a fundamental plan of this is how you achieve a task. You got to have this type of approach in place. You need to be able to measure it with this data or these results and those things. Bring it all back though. Getting into cybersecurity is not easy if you don't know the fundamentals of IT. You kind of need to understand networking. You need to know some things about computers. I've worked in plenty of places. I used to be a penetration tester. I wasn't a great one, but I knew enough. And coming up through the help desk, knowing how to solve basic general computer issues and working with users and understanding how a normal 9 to 5 worker uses a computer was super beneficial because I understood what these tools were trying to exploit and like what the attacks did and what vulnerabilities there were and how they were exploited. Where people now just like, I'm running Metasploit. I'm going to point this up. It's Windows. I'm going to run this exploit at this box. It's like, is that even on there? Do you know how to do a port scan? Like, what's a port? Okay, you need to go back and understand networking because you're never going to be able to just YOLO things here. I mean, you could. You're not going to be very good at it. You're going to get caught.
Well, and then finding the job too.
That too.
If you're trying to do things legitimately.
Yeah, I guess you did. The question was, how do you get into the field? You need to learn. You need to establish a foundation and then pick something. Look for jobs. Look on LinkedIn, Indeed, Dice.com for cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Look what they're asking for. Like, ignore the qualifications. Sometimes those are just ridiculous. It's like entry level, 14 years experience. It doesn't matter. Just apply. If you have the willingness to learn and you could show that you're willing to learn through other jobs you've had or your track record for learning now in your free time while you're trying to transition into this role, that speaks volumes. What else? Anything else?
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a good starting point for people to kind of like hone in that ambition they might have.
Mm-hmm.
But the confusion that kind of covers changing careers.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I get frustrated sometimes. I used to. I haven't so much in this role, but like in those sales roles, I'm like, I hate this job. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, I want to go be Forrest Gump and just cut grass for a living. I don't want to talk to a single person ever again. And I'm just going to be on this lawnmower for 14 hours a day. It's like, I wouldn't make this much though. I can't do that. It's like, what else can I do? Nothing. Like I couldn't,
right.
I can't go back. And that's the difficult thing. You were in that position when you tried to get out of law enforcement for a bit, or at least explore cybersecurity. Once you're established, that's a daunting task.
Yeah, it was the best way I explained it to people is like the financial dip I would have to experience was pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
The financial potential was significantly higher. But there's things I'm still working on.
And like I've taken some huge pay cuts throughout the course of my career, betting on myself that the next role would be better.
Yeah.
And I would learn more, which ultimately pays you more because once you learn more and prove yourself, you're rewarded. But yeah, coming from a totally unrelated field, it is scary. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's been
leaving this field to try anything else.
It's been interesting studying, the CompTIA books were really good. Getting hands-on application of post-incident threat, hunting.
And there's a ton of free stuff out there. Like I wish I had some off the top of my head, but like Hack the Box and Try Hack Me and all these so those are like pen test specific ones, but there's all sorts of stuff and just Google it. But I've known people to get jobs just from putting in the work on Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, moving their way up the leaderboard, and you see it on the resume like number 3 on Hack the Box.
That's pretty solid.
And it's like you actually know how to do it because that's a technical.
I was top 50 on Call of Duty at one point. Just saying.
Esports,
don't want to
baby.
Flex on these people, but it's a hard flex.
Put me in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, I really appreciate your time and coming on, dude. Like it's been wild. This first one, it's I know it's a little cobwebs and stuff like that, but I appreciate you jumping at the opportunity to be the the sacrificial lamb.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Friday night. It's a little late. It's been a rough week. I was a little nervous to come on here because I'm tired and I was cranky all week. But I had a good time and would love to do this again. If
Yeah,
you ever
dude.
need a
Yeah, I
fill-in.
appreciate it. Yeah, dude. Well, thanks everybody. Take care.